Hello there and welcome. Thanks for coming to learn about my approach to intentional leadership development. In terms of a very brief introduction, my name is Bribiesca-Hedin. I'm the CEO and principal coach for Bridgewell Professional Services. And really my passion and commitment is to creating influential, sought-after leaders who are doing work that really matters without overworking, people-pleasing, or selling their souls. Now, you might have already heard me speak at a recent event, but if you haven't, coming here to learn about my intentional leadership program and my approach to leadership development and coaching is a really good start. So let's get going. Now, our coaching programs are created to really provide results from the very first week. And we focus on developing mastery across three, I call them pillars to leadership development. And so the first one is self-mastery. This is where we distinguish what's been driving your decisions and get really clear on what's most important to you, why, and how you want that reflected in your career decisions. You have to know what or who really is in the driver's seat of your decisions and then make sure that that's what you actually want there. Because here's the thing, in the absence of that clarity, you're going to end up reacting to everyone else's choices and decisions and priorities, and that may or may not be in line with what it is that you're trying to make happen. So without deciding what factors you want to have in the driver's seat or acting as your North Star or, GPS, guiding principles, however you want to think about that, when it comes to making decisions, you end up spinning your wheels and often moving farther away from the results that you actually want. So we start there right away. Now, this is also where you create lasting self-awareness and real self-confidence. And I mean self-confidence that's not dependent on the circumstance or your familiarity or depending on who's in the room and whether you have anyone's approval or validation. Because what happens when we depend on familiarity and comfort, etc., and things going according to plan or the right people being in the room, that means that we only bring our best thinking when everything is going well. And that our confidence and best thinking disappear when we most need it, which is when? Right? When things are not going according to plan, when we're being challenged, when people are not in agreement or providing the validation or support that we're looking for. So we really try to speed up that process. And one way that we do that is by uncovering those validation traps and those confidence roadblocks and those self-awareness blind spots by kicking the group program off with my Leadership Confidence Intensive Weekend. Now, this serves as essentially an awareness accelerator so that we can get through even more of those competencies and real application and support over the 12 sessions that your group is together. Now, the next development pillar is what I refer to as role mastery. This is really where you really get to understand your role, what's important to your role, and what's actually necessary to excel in your role so that you're spending time on what actually matters. And you can cut out the overworking and focus on what gives you that highest ROI. Now, in the absence of role mastery, you can probably already guess what happens. Right? Without this level of clarity, most accomplished professionals default to just doing literally more of everything in hopes that something actually works to move them closer to what they want. But as you can imagine and might have already experienced yourself, the only thing you're assured of when you just throw more spaghetti at the wall is a dirty wall. Just like how the only guarantee from doing more of everything is burnout. So we want to get out of that space right away. And then we go to leadership goal mastery. Now, this is where you define your intentional leadership style. Here is where you get really clear about how you want to be as a leader, how you want to show up on purpose and unapologetically, no matter who's in the room and what sort of unexpected setback or challenge rears its head. You get to articulate and define the kind of impact you're there to make and how you're willing to contribute. Now, when we don't have this in place, what you might find yourself doing is trying to mimic someone else's approach to leadership or even resisting someone else's approach to leadership because it doesn't feel real and it doesn't feel like you. I mean, really, I think the best part for most clients is no longer trying to be like someone else who is totally different or totally foreign, or it feels fake and has them feel like they're coming up short and like they're just pretending. So this is all about you, about how you want your values and your goals expressed in your day-to-day leadership style. This is where you get to be really, really clear with yourself and with others, what you can be counted on for, what you expect from them, what they can expect from you, how you can support them best, how you work best, so you don't find yourself saying things like, I'm a nurturing leader, just bring me someone with the right attitude and I'll do the rest, when really what you want is someone highly industrious who's going to come in and hit the ground running and needs little to no attention. And who, before they come in and ask you a question, has already exhausted at least another 2 or 3 ways of looking at the challenge. Or the other side of it, what a lot of us have also experienced, the boss who tells you, no, you're the expert. Come on in and do your thing. I'll just get out of your way. But as soon as you come in, they're trying to tell you how to build your PowerPoint report out, or who you can and cannot have conversations with in the organization. Now look, neither of these are necessarily wrong. What makes them wrong is when we pretend we're one type of leader and set one type of expectations, when then in fact we're the other. So you get to be really, really clear about who you are and how you lead, no matter who is in the room. Now, another important outcome of this pillar is that this is where you complete the creation of a strategic plan for your career. Look, one of the few things more important than understanding where you fit in your organization's big picture and strategic plan is understanding where your organization fits in your strategic plan for your career. Now, when you don't have a strategic plan for your career, you end up defaulting to someone else's plan. And you may be moving farther and farther away from what it is that you actually want to create. I do want to make a quick note now. Sometimes I'm asked why we don't really complete that strategic plan until the end. And let me tell you, here's why. Because we want to make sure that that strategic plan is informed by your best and clearest thinking, by your values and your priorities, coming from a place of confidence, not making decisions from a place of fear or inadvertently making decisions from a place of ego. So this is why our strategic plan lives within that leadership goal mastery, because this is where you have the highest level of clarity about who you are and how you want to show up. Now, the other thing we do here is I also teach you to do failure planning. And this is really important so that setbacks are no longer a freak out point and they're just part of getting to results. Honestly, most people don't know how to be with setbacks and don't know how to remain focused and to articulate what's actually most important, which means we end up spinning our wheels and wasting time. But you're going to wrap all of this up in 90 days. So that's not too bad. Now, everything we do together in this program is so that your best thinking and your deliberate intentions and goals are helping you make quality decisions from a place of quality thinking, right? That's where you get that thinking mastery. The kind of thinking that's going to shape how you show up, how you relate to others, how you manage change and competing priorities, right, which never seem to end, how you lead your teams, and of course, the outcomes you create. So you leave this experience, these 3 months, knowing who you are as a leader, knowing what's next among your development priorities, knowing where you want to go with your career and the kind of impact you want to make professionally. And possibly as importantly as all the rest is being clear on how to invest your treasured time and energy. So you're no longer throwing spaghetti at the wall and saying yes to all, or collecting yet another credential in hopes that you'll feel like a confident, capable leader. Instead, you get to create actual competence, actual confidence, and invest your limited time and energy on what actually matters most for your role, for your goals, your organization, and your team. If you're serious about growing your leadership effectiveness and ready to explore working together, now is your chance. So go to bridgewellpro.com or click on the button on this page to schedule a free leadership assessment session as your next step. Now, if you have already scheduled a session, then congratulations on finishing the pre-work you committed to, and I will see you at our session.